haven't seen much of, though, is video. So this is quite an interesting thing, and I'm quite excited to see what we're going to learn in the next 15 to 20 minutes. And I would like to introduce you to Doug, who's going to talk to us about video on the web. So definitely give it up for Doug.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I just noticed that something weird happened with the date there, but we can work past that. But I'm Doug. Thanks for having me. I'm originally from Seattle. I met a couple other Seattle people here, which is pretty cool. But I've been traveling the world with my family for the last 4 years. We're in Zurich for the holidays, so I'm really glad that we could make this all work out. I do a lot of performance stuff. I've been doing a lot with media recently, so performance of images. But like Martin said, nobody's talking about the performance of video, so let's talk about that. I also did a lot of Android performance stuff at one point. So if you're into Android and you're interested in performance, that's the PDF to my book. Have at it if you're interested. If you're not interested, download it anyway. If you want to reach out, I'm Doug Sillars on the internet. So video, like why video? So Wistia found that people spend more time on web pages that have video than without. Of course, Wistia is trying to sell you video content to put on your web page. So like, this is marketing stuff. But you know, web pages that have video are more engaging. Of course, video is also really expensive. So I got to go to Serbia for a conference, and my Irish phone didn't roam there, and it was going to be $5 a megabyte. And so when you think about video, or €5 a megabyte, sorry. When you think about video on the web, videos are probably the biggest file that you're going to put on your web page. And so if you put too large a file, like that's going to cost people money. And so you should think about that. So let's talk really quickly about like the video tag. Who knows the video tag? All right, everybody knows the video tag. That's awesome. So video source equals MP4. This doesn't work. So if you just try to do that, it won't work. You can put autoplay in there, which means that the video should autoplay. This won't work on mobile, right? And some web pages will autoplay it and some won't, and it's really, really hard to test because all the browsers do slightly different heuristics as to whether it should autoplay. So to make video autoplay on mobile, you have to add the muted tag, and I think that's because Chrome and Safari engineers sit in on meetings too, and sometimes they get bored, right? You don't want it to be loud because then you're busted that you're watching a movie. So this will autoplay on mobile and will work. You can add controls, the play, pause, volume, you know, full screen, things like that. You can have it there or not have it. You can set the width, you can set the height, right? These are really awesome things. You can set a poster. So when the video doesn't autoplay, you can decide what image is the placeholder there rather than the first frame of the video. You can pick something that's more indicative of what the video is, that you just download a JPEG. You can loop the video. So this is like an animated GIF, right? Because it autoplays, it's muted, and it loops. And actually, if you go to Twitter, like Twitter, if you look, if you can't see it, it says GIF in the corner, but you open up into DevTools and it's an MP4, right? They're using videos because videos are smaller than GIFs. And if you actually go back to the spec for GIF, it was written in 1990, it says we have an animated format, but we don't recommend that anyone uses it. Like the spec says don't use animated GIFs. You should use video just like Twitter or Facebook, Slack. They all use looping MP4s. All right, so that's the first takeaway we should get here. Another thing you can do with your videos is you can add a preload attribute. And you can set preload equals none. And when preload equals none, that tells the browser, don't download any of the video. So this is a web page, and you can see on Safari, it downloaded 200 bytes. Preload equals metadata is the default. And so preload equals metadata says, hey, browser, download a little bit of the video, just enough to get it to start playing. And in this case, Safari downloaded 620K. That's awesome. Preload equals auto is like, I don't care if they watch the video, download the whole thing. Just do it. And so you can see here, Safari downloaded 31 megabytes. That happens on mobile, it happens on desktop, right? We have to start thinking about these things. So let's go through some examples. So this is the Trump Tower website, you know, the tower in America. It has a background video. So let's look at the code. And can anyone tell me what's sort of weird about the video code for Trump Tower's website? Two. That's the answer. It is, we don't know what the hell's going to play, so we'll just let the browser figure it out. We'll let it download both. So it's downloading the desktop video, and it's downloading the mobile video, and you open up DevTools, and lo and behold, you download 2 videos. Desktop or mobile. Like, this is not super efficient from a performance perspective. Second example. Any ideas of what's going on here? So we have a poster. Poster and autoplay. So this is the video where, like, we want this video to play right away, but we're going to download an image in front of the video that no one will ever see. So what are you doing? You're just delaying the video download. And it turns out in this case, the JPEG was 250K, which is just sitting in front of the video starting to play, right? That's not so awesome. Third example I actually have right here, Climb Iowa. So you download this, and Chrome DevTools, there it goes. So we can see on the mobile view, I'll make this bigger. Right, so on mobile, we've got a video. So you can see it's 3. Let's see if I can get the actual number there. Come on. No, where's the size? Oh, it came out of cache, but it's about 4 megabytes. Do you see the video? Anyone see the video? Oh, but maybe if we make the screen a little bigger, we'll see the video. All right. So the moral of that story is display none does not mean download none. So if you hide it in the CS, this is like the #1 thing that people do. It's like, we don't want the video for mobile, but it downloads anyway. So that mobile user downloaded 4 megabytes of video and no one ever saw it, right? Ugh, that's not so awesome. All right, fourth example. The hint here is look at the file name. Preload equals auto and 88 megabytes. So this is telling the browser just like, download the whole damn thing. It's 88 megabytes, and I don't care if they watch it or not. You actually have to click a button for this to play. It's hidden. Like you have to. So this is, you're on a web page and you want to press play or you don't press play. The browser already downloaded the 88 megabytes. Like, not ideal. Yeah, so this is web page test. I did this on a mobile device, and there was 61 megabytes of video that were downloaded on a Motorola G4. All right, so that leads into sort of like the performance bits of it. So we kind of like saw what people do that are wrong with just the video tag. But when video analytics companies describe what they measure, and they measure a few things. Does the video start? Did the video stall? And does it look good? And I want to talk to how we can measure these sorts of things. And if we optimize the video, if it's a smaller video, it's going to start faster, it's going to stall less often, and it hopefully will look good. Akamai did a study, and they found that everyone will hang out to watch a video for 2 seconds, but after 2 seconds, you lose 6% of your customers, right? So if it's taking a while for the video to start, you're losing your audience. So tools like web page test fans, a few hands. Like if you're interested in performance, like web page test is the awesome tool, and you should look at it. Web page test shows you a list of all the things that are downloaded in the waterfall. You can see the video because it's that giant green line. I call it if you see this on a mobile one, sometimes I call it the mobile middle finger because it's just like the amount of data that's being downloaded. But it doesn't tell us anything about the video and whether the video plays. Web page test will record a video. So this is the video of this page loading on a 3G connection. So how many of you like open up a web page and you're like, I wonder if there's a video at the top of this page? I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit longer to see. Right? If the video takes too long, people don't know that there's a video. Right? If it takes 20 seconds for the video to start, people are never going to see that. So I actually built a tool, it's open source, it's up on GitHub, that measures the start time of your video. So basically you put the video URL in there, and it runs a test, and it tells you, you can use your dev tools to slow down your network connection, and it'll tell you how quickly the video starts up. In this case, 1.3 seconds. I've got a demo here, I hope. Yes. Is this the video I want? Yeah, all right. So we'll reload the page. I didn't change the network speed. So in this case, it took 1.2 seconds, but we can lower the network speed here to, I made that really big. So now like, here we go. So we'll make it a fast 3G connection. We reload the page. It might be cached. So even though, oh, I don't have disable the cache on. Well, even if you don't have disable the cache on, sometimes Chrome still caches the video in DevTools. But you can, no, here we go. You can see it's taking a while, right? We see there's a little bit of buffer there. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. How long is that video going to start? This is giving us an idea that on a fast 3G connection, this might actually take a really long time for this video to start. And I only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to make this, we'll put it on a 5 megabit per second connection. It's loading faster. It's still taking forever. All right, it took 34 seconds for that video to start, right? The other cool thing that it's doing is it's measuring how much video is in the buffer. And you can see right here, the video, it loaded a lot of stuff to start, but the buffer is quickly running out and it may lead to a stall, right? This video may get down into the danger zone and eventually stall. I'm not gonna sit here and watch for that. But what this tool does is it gives you all of that data. It tells you how quickly the video is going to start up at different speeds, how likely it is to stall. You can do things like download a whole bunch of other images at the same time because this is a very synthetic test. We're just looking at the video. If you want to throw other things onto the pipe at the same time, you can make it slower. It also measures the stalling times. We all know that if a video stalls, like if a video stops playing, you tend to just walk away. People don't like having the video stop. And so this SVG line is showing you that like the danger zone, like if there's less than 5 seconds of video in the buffer, you're probably really close to a stall, right? That's really a good chance that it'll stall. It'll measure the amount of times that your video stalls and all of those sorts of things. I ran 3,600 videos through this. I've integrated it so it can be automated. That's all up on GitHub, so you can read about that. 40% of the videos that I found on the web stall at least once. 20% stalled for over 2 seconds, and 10% of them stalled for over 10 seconds. So we have a really big problem on the web with the way we're delivering video. What's causing the delay? You could blame the network speed, but we should be agnostic of that. Like, that's not our customer's fault. We should make sure that our video always works. The size of the video made a difference. Interestingly, the length of the video doesn't make a difference. It's mostly the dimensions, right? The width and the height and the bit rate, how many megabytes per second of video you're sending. In this case, you can see that once you get above the 50th percentile, none of the videos start, for bit rate, none of the videos start in 6 seconds, right? That's a long time. You're losing a lot of customers. So what can we do? We can resize videos. So I use a tool called Cloudinary, where you upload the video and you can resize it. There are lots of tools to resize videos to do compression. You can use FFmpeg. Cloudinary is great because I can just set the width in the browser and it resizes it for me. So in this case, the original video was 72 megabytes. I do some quality adjustments. It goes down to 7, right? The bit rate's now 2 megabits per second. If I make it 1280 wide, which is 720p, it's 2/3 that original size. The bit rate's 1.3 megabits per second. We can look at the video startup time. This is a live video. It's for a real estate company in the UK. It took 120 seconds to start up the way it is today. I re-encoded it. It got down to 14 or 11 seconds for an MP4 or a WebM. When I make it smaller, it starts up in 3 seconds. And it's in that danger zone only 1/3 of the time. It's less likely to stall. So this video is going to play, and people can actually consume the video, which I think is important. Another thing, this is the web page. This is the source from that web page. They have 2 videos. They have an MP4 and a WebM. And so the way the sources work is the browser goes through and finds the first source that it can play. WebM is supported by MP4 is supported in every single browser except for Opera Mini. WebM is supported by all the major browsers except for Safari. But in this case, it's going to go down and it's always going to play the MP4 because it's always going to get the first one that it can find. If we look at the files, the WebM is half the size, right? It's half the bit rate. This is a video that would more likely play for, according to Okay, so the fix, of course, is switch the order, right? If you switch the order, now the smaller video is going to play for 78% of the global web audience, right? That's according to Can I Use. So if you serve the WebM first, you're going to get that smaller video delivered to your customers. It's more likely to play. The other thing to notice is they're serving all this content out of S3. S3 is awesome, but S3 charges you 9 cents a gigabyte. And if it's a 73 megabyte video, that's a lot of data. In fact, it's half a cent every single time somebody loads this web page. So not only does it cost your users on mobile, like with limited data plans, it's costing you. It could be costing your company. So if you turn it into a WebM, if they just flip that around, it's half the price. If they re-encode it to 720p in the things I showed earlier that makes it more likely to play faster, it goes down to 0.04 of a cent. So this is the lower your AWS bill by 15x with one simple trick, right? Make sure you're not serving these giant videos that no one's going to be able to tell the difference. Another thing I see a lot is background videos that have an audio track. Can you hear the background video? It's silent. So what you should do is actually remove the audio track. And in this case, it made the video 5% smaller, 4% smaller. So by making the video 4% smaller, you remove content that no one's ever going to hear anyway. You might as well do that. Last thing, I know I'm getting close, is does it start, does it stall, does it still look good? And so what does having a video look good? Is it clear or is it muddy, right? We don't want muddy videos, we want it to look good. There are a lot of tools that will do that. There's structural similarity, there's peak signal to noise, and then there's the Netflix VMAF, Video Multi-Method Assessment Fusion. I can never remember that one for obvious reasons. And you can get a score from all of those things. SSIM and PSNR are built into FFmpeg. VMAF you can add to FFmpeg, but it's a pain in the butt. I spent a day and a half trying to get it to work. So because it was such a pain in the butt, I wrapped it in Node and I put it live on the internet. So if you go to Stream Clarity, you have the original video and then the transcoded lower quality video. It will actually go frame by frame and measure these for you. It's slow because it's going frame by frame. So I generally say do a subsection, do 5 or 10 seconds of the video just to go back and forth to measure the quality of the video. And what I did was that video that I showed you that was really, really big, when I resized it and I made it smaller, when I made it 720p, which is 1280 wide, I still get a VMAF score of 99. And what that means is that the human eye can't tell a difference. So I made the video smaller, it's showing up on a smaller screen, and the human eye can't tell a difference. I can make it 960 wide, and the human eye still can't tell a difference. So we could make this video smaller, 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 and it still looks awesome. So it's going to start faster, it's less likely to stall, and it's still going to look great to our end users. So right now I've got these two tools. They're out there, they're free to use. Feel free to play with them. If you have any hints or any suggestions, let me know. I'm happy for that. They're all up on GitHub and open source. So in conclusion, thank you so much for listening. Video is really complicated. There's a lot there. I would have loved to talk about streaming, but I didn't have time to get there. But use web page tests to test your app, benchmark to see where you're at. If you're using video, check out Streamer, not Stream Clarity, FFmpeg. And I use Cloudinary to host the videos because it's a really cool service for hosting images and media. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate it.